I'm going to be completely honest with you. I can't remember the last time I read an entire article without checking my phone. And I'm someone who actually enjoys reading. That's like a chef who can't finish eating a sandwich without getting distracted by a different sandwich. Last week, I sat down to watch a movie I actually wanted to watch that I chose specifically because I thought it looked good. And I checked my phone 17 times.
Oh my
The movie
God.
was 90 minutes long. I was checking my phone more often than some people blink. At that point, was I even watching the movie, or was the movie just expensive background noise for my phone scrolling? My attention span had become so absolutely destroyed that I couldn't even enjoy things I genuinely liked anymore. It was like my brain had turned into a goldfish, except goldfish have better focus than I do. At least goldfish commit to swimming in one direction for more than 3 seconds. And the scary part? I thought this was normal. I thought everyone's brain was just broken now, and we all collectively decided that's fine. Spoiler alert, it's not fine. But also it's fixable. And the solution is way weirder than you'd think. So I'm sitting at my desk, supposedly working on something important. And I notice I've opened a new browser tab. Cool, fine. Maybe I needed to look something up. Except I don't remember deciding to open the tab. I don't know what I was planning to look up. I just opened it. Like my hand developed its own consciousness and decided to betray me. Then I caught myself doing it again. And again. And again. I was opening tabs like I was trying to set a world record. Tab after tab after tab. None of them related to what I was working on. Most of them just the same websites I checked 5 minutes ago. My browser looked like a hoarder's house, but for the internet. I started paying attention to how often this happened, and I was genuinely horrified. Every couple of minutes, my brain would just peace out. It would see itself out. Alright, focusing is hard. I'm gonna go check if anything interesting happened in the last 90 seconds on the entire internet. And the worst part? When I tried to stop, when I tried to just sit there and focus on one thing for like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. That's less time than it takes to shower if you're actually washing your hair properly. It felt physically uncomfortable. Like my brain was a toddler who just learned the word no and was using it as much as possible. My brain was literally having a full meltdown because I wasn't giving it constant stimulation. It was like, excuse me, we've been focusing for almost 4 minutes. Where are the dopamine hits? Where's the scrolling? Are you trying to kill us? That's when I realized I wasn't in control of my attention anymore. My attention had been kidnapped, and the kidnappers were apps with little red notification dots. Okay, so your attention span isn't just getting shorter because you're lazy or undisciplined or because you have some kind of moral failing. Your brain has been literally hijacked by technology that was specifically designed to be as addictive as possible. These apps we use every day, they were built by teams of very smart people whose entire job, their only job, was to make these apps so addictive that you can't put your phone down. Like, imagine if your job description was, make people unable to stop using our product. That's what these people do. They studied how slot machines work. They studied how to trigger dopamine. They studied gambling addiction and went, okay, cool. But what if we applied this to a photo sharing app? They're basically digital drug dealers, except legal and somehow more successful. Every notification, every like, every new post, every little red dot, it's all engineered to give you a tiny hit of dopamine. And your brain, which evolved back when the most exciting thing that happened was maybe seeing a cool rock, doesn't know the difference between I found food and won't starve and someone I met once at a party 3 years ago liked my photo. So your brain starts treating these notifications like they're life or death important. It starts craving them. It starts getting restless and anxious when it's not getting them, like a tiny neurotic hamster running on a wheel made of anxiety. And over time, here's the really fun part, your brain literally rewires itself. The neural pathways for sustained attention start to atrophy like muscles you don't use. Meanwhile, the pathways for get distracted immediately become superhighways. Your brain becomes really good at being distracted and really bad at focusing. It's like if you spent years training to be terrible at something, except you didn't mean to do it, and also it's ruining your life. Fun! Here's what I had to come to terms with, and this was rough. My attention span didn't just randomly get worse like I caught a bad case of the distractions. I trained it to be this way. I personally trained my own brain to be bad at focusing. and I didn't even get a certificate for all that training. Every time I checked my phone while watching TV, I was teaching my brain that doing one thing at a time is for losers. Every time I scrolled through social media instead of doing actual work, I was teaching my brain that avoiding difficult things is the move. Every time I switched tasks the second something got slightly hard or boring, I was teaching my brain to have the perseverance of a fruit fly. And my brain? My brain is an excellent student. Terrible at math, but excellent at learning bad habits. It learned that focus is uncomfortable and distraction is easy and feels good. So naturally, it started choosing distraction every single time, like a really dedicated bad decision maker. The uncomfortable truth is, I did this to myself. I'm basically my own worst enemy, which is annoying because I was hoping my worst enemy would be someone cooler, like a rival who challenges me to improve. But no, it's just me, self-sabotaging, like it's an Olympic sport. But here's the good news. If I trained my brain to be distracted, I could retrain it to focus. Brains are weirdly flexible like that. They're like really stubborn Play-Doh. So I decided to try something that sounded easy but turned out to be psychological warfare. Track every single time I got distracted for one entire week. Day 1, I gave up counting after hitting 50 distractions in one day. I was getting distracted more often than I was breathing. At that rate, calling it getting distracted was generous. Maybe I should call it occasionally having brief moments of focus between distractions. But here's the absolutely wild part. Most of these distractions weren't even enjoyable. Like, I wasn't checking my phone because I was having the time of my life scrolling through content. I was checking it because, honestly, I don't even know why. Boredom? Habit? Fear that if I didn't check my phone every 90 seconds, the internet would forget I existed? I'd pick up my phone, scroll for like 30 seconds, see absolutely nothing interesting. Because of course, there was nothing interesting. Nothing interesting happens every 30 seconds. Put it down and immediately forget what I'd even looked at. It was like my brain was going on a treasure hunt, but the treasure was just mild stimulation, and even when it found the treasure, it was disappointed. Oh, another video of someone making food? Great. Exactly what I needed to interrupt my work for. So I made a new rule. Before picking up my phone, I had to pause and ask myself, what am I actually looking for right now? What specific thing do I need from this phone? And 90% of the time, the answer was absolutely nothing. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just escaping the mild discomfort of having to focus on something for more than the length of a TikTok video. So I knew what the problem was. Great. Now I had to fix it. And let me tell you, retraining your attention span is not a fun little journey of self-discovery. It's more like forcing yourself to go to a gym where all the equipment is specifically designed to be boring. I started with something that should be stupidly simple. Focus on one task for 10 minutes without checking anything else. Just 10 minutes. That's 2 commercial breaks. That's one moderately long song. It's nothing. And it was torture, like genuine psychological discomfort. My brain was having a full panic attack. Check your phone. What if something happened? What if there's an emergency? What if someone texted you something? What if there's a notification? What if someone posted something and you miss it, and then you can never see it again, because that's definitely how the internet works. My brain was acting like I was asking it to hold its breath underwater, not just sit still and do one thing for 10 minutes like literally every human before smartphones could do without having a crisis. But I survived 10 whole minutes of focus. I didn't die. The world didn't end. I didn't miss anything important. Turns out nothing important happens in 10 minutes. Then I'd take a break, check whatever my brain was screaming about, usually nothing, and do another 10 minutes. After a few days, 10 minutes started to feel less like torture and more like just mildly annoying. Progress. So I increased it to 15, then 20, then 30. And here's the absolutely bonkers part. After about 2 weeks, focusing actually started to feel good. Like my brain started remembering that there's actual satisfaction in completing something. That finishing a task feels way better than scrolling through infinite content and accomplishing absolutely nothing except knowing what random people had for lunch. Alright, let me give you the actual tactics I used that didn't make me feel like I was living in the Stone Age. Strategy 1. Phone jail. Maximum security. I started putting my phone in a different room when I needed to focus. Not on silent, not face down, not in a drawer, in a completely different room. Because here's what I learned. If my phone is within arm's reach, I will find an excuse to check it. What if there's an emergency? There won't be. And if there is, they'll call twice and you'll hear it from the other room. Putting it in another room added just enough friction that my autopilot couldn't grab it without me noticing. It's like putting a speed bump between you and your bad habit. Strategy 2, single tasking. One thing at a time. If I'm watching something, I'm just watching. No phone, no laptop, no, let me quickly check this while the opening credits roll. If I'm working, I'm just working. No TV in the background, no music with lyrics, no podcasts, just work. At first, this felt insane. Like I was wasting time by not multitasking, like I should be doing 12 things at once to be productive. But then I realized I wasn't actually getting 12 things done. I was doing 0 things while switching between 12 things and feeling exhausted. Single tasking meant I actually finished stuff. 3. The boredom challenge. This one is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but it's weirdly powerful. I'd sit and do nothing for 5 minutes, just sit there. No phone, no book, no TV, no distractions. Just me and my thoughts, having what I can only describe as the most awkward reunion in history. And you know what happened? My brain started working again. Like actually thinking, generating ideas, processing things, being creative. All the things it used to do before I trained it to just consume content nonstop like some kind of information vacuum cleaner. Turns out, boredom is when your brain does its best work. But we've eliminated boredom from our lives so completely that our brains never get a chance to actually think anymore. Strategy 4, the notification apocalypse. I went through my phone and turned off notifications for literally everything, except calls and texts from actual human beings I know personally. No app deserves the right to interrupt my life whenever it feels like getting my attention. That's insane. That's like giving strangers permission to knock on your door at random times and then getting upset when you can't focus. What actually changed and why I'm not going back. After about a month of this, here's what happened, and I'm not exaggerating. I could read again, like actually read, whole articles from start to finish, even whole books, multiple chapters in one sitting. Without checking my phone every paragraph like I was expecting a text from the president, I could have actual conversations with people without my brain going, "Hey, you should check your phone right now." In the middle of this conversation, I could work on difficult, boring, unglamorous tasks without my brain immediately trying to escape like it was in prison, and just saw an opportunity. And I had more free time. Way more. Because I wasn't spending 4 hours working while actually just refreshing the same 5 apps in a loop. I do focused work for an hour and accomplish more than I used to accomplish in an entire day of distracted pseudo work. My brain felt clearer, like someone had cleaned out all the junk drawers in my head. Less foggy, less overwhelmed, less like I was constantly running on low battery. Here's what surprised me the most, and I'm going to get weirdly sincere for a second. Taking back control of my attention made me genuinely happier. I thought I'd miss the constant stimulation. I thought life would be boring without checking my phone every minute. But the opposite happened. Things became interesting again. Movies were engaging because I was actually watching them, instead of also scrolling through my phone and catching maybe 60% of the plot. The constant distraction wasn't making me happy or even entertained. It was just making me busy and stressed and vaguely guilty all the time. But when you can actually focus, when you can give your full attention to one thing, you get to actually experience it. And that's where happiness lives. Not in consuming 12 things at once badly, but in experiencing one thing fully. Okay, here's my challenge. And I promise it's less intense than what I did. Pick 1 hour today. During that hour, do one thing with your full attention. Not one thing while monitoring your phone for emergencies that won't happen. Put your phone in another room. Close all the tabs. Turn off the TV. Do one thing. And notice what happens. Notice how uncomfortable it is at first. How much your brain protests like a toddler being told they can't have candy for dinner. But also notice what happens when you push through. Notice how much you actually get done. Notice how satisfying it feels to complete something with your full attention. Your attention is literally your life. Where your attention goes, your life goes. And right now, Your attention is probably being stolen by apps that were engineered by very smart people to be as addictive as possible. They don't care about you. They care about your screen time numbers. Take it back. Retrain your brain. Reclaim your focus. Not because you want to be more productive, although you will be, but because you deserve to actually experience your life instead of just skimming through it while checking your phone. If this video made you realize your attention span has been absolutely mugged by technology, smash that like button and subscribe for more content about taking back control of your life from apps that think they own you. And drop a comment. What's your most embarrassing distraction habit? Let's judge ourselves together. Thanks for watching. Now go put your phone in another room and do literally anything that requires focus. You've got this.